has really hit us, should I say, with a sledgehammer.
I'm just kind of scared.
Young voices united in song, the Zimbabwe national anthem. The children at St. Peter's Primary School in Mbari are caught up in what may be the most terrible undeclared war in the world. Zimbabwe is ground zero, and they are the casualties. 25% of the adult population is infected with HIV. That is 1 out of every 4 people these students pass on the street. Among them, physicians, politicians, the elite, and the educated.
Okay, what does it mean?
It is estimated that a teacher dies from AIDS every school day.
Parents die, children start being neglected, they become street kids. The relatives are overburdened with inherited children from their relatives, and it's quite a serious situation.
There are so many funerals that students are no longer excused to attend unless they've lost a parent or a primary caretaker. And across southern Africa, many have.
This HIV problem is killing. According to the statistics, only in Harare, the Minister of Health is telling us it's about over 1,000 people dying per week.
AIDS could dwarf every catastrophic event in Africa's history: slavery, famine, and war. Why is it so bad here? Well, in part because of the profound poverty that colonialism left behind. A family of 4 sleeps in this one room on one mattress. Many men have been forced to leave their families and hit the road in search of work for months at a time. Unemployment now stands at a staggering 50%. There is, however, one booming business. For those who are too poor for stone grave markers, simple tissue paper crosses will do. This is Granville Cemetery outside Mbari. It is Section B. The original graveyard is now full. This is the children's section, the infants' graveyard. And what makes it so remarkable is that all of these babies have died within the past 30 days.
You will see at least 30, 40 new graves in a row, which is something unheard of and unseen before this crisis. It's like new cities, but cities of the dead. It's really devastating.
Devastating in many ways, physically and emotionally.
And when I told him that I'm pregnant, he said I must quickly go for an abortion. I must quickly go for an abortion because the baby's going to die.
Empo gave birth and gave her child HIV. She lost her job and her mind. It was a slow descent into darkness.
I nearly committed suicide. I ended up on the ledge of a building. I couldn't it was not me. I wasn't fooling around. I was completely on the denial stage.
Something stopped Empo from going over that ledge, but something pushes others. Much like Mbari, Zimbabwe, in Berea, there are so many distraught people that this infamous Coca-Cola high-rise has been labeled Suicide Tower. Then there are those who choose to live, but hide behind a lie. People like Vena Gwatizu, who's deceived her family into believing she has cancer. Too ashamed to tell her 4 children that their promiscuous father, who died in 1997, brought the AIDS epidemic into their home.
She feels if she tells the children that this is what is happening today, it will be a very big disappointment to them and for the rest of their life, since they are still very young children. So once they know this, it will be a very painful life to them.
The very thought of it was too much for this weak and worried mother to take. We didn't know it when our conversation ended, but Vena was walking off into the light. She went back to her room, where she died. It didn't have to be this way. Across Africa, many men are free to have multiple sex partners, and the women in their lives risk being beaten up if they question this behavior. Women told me they wouldn't dare ask their husbands or boyfriends to wear a condom. Predatory, unequal, and unsafe sex breeds this disease, and so does lust. 34-year-old Cheryl walks the streets of Hillbrow. Why? Seriously?
Honestly. Drugs. Cocaine, crack.
Do you worry about AIDS?
Totally. But I carry
Let's see. Don't let Cheryl's condoms fool you. Most of the working women are already HIV positive, and many are junkies, earning about $20 per customer. This is where Cheryl operates. The plush purple bed is for business, the other for rest, her crack pipe nearby. Cheryl was reaching for her stash sewn into the lining of the curtain when...
I'm busy! Who is it?
It was her pimp. Cheryl feared she might be beaten or shot. We were ordered out. Her fate remains unclear. What is clear is the fate of the wives and children of the men who still hire women like Cheryl, despite a fairly aggressive anti-AIDS campaign. A campaign that's been a long time coming.
The problem was ignored and was not talked about, and just thus was not in the nation's consciousness. And even official people would kind of keep mum on all the problem. And until it suddenly, until the dam burst, and there was just no other way of keeping quiet.
When that dam burst, it exposed a conspiracy of silence led by the church. Nowadays, this Methodist pastor is preaching about AIDS and promiscuity from the pulpit.
It is important to talk about it and tell them how bad AIDS is.
How it is here is very different from the West. HIV is almost always transmitted heterosexually. Some young girls are taught to use herbs to dry out their genitals, increasing sensitivity for men, but causing small cuts and bleeding, causing the virus to spread. Father Schmidt believes it is time for some of those tribal traditions to evolve.
We look forward to behavioral change. Now we have many things in place. The state is very much promoting condoms and all kinds of other contraception.
Yes.
It's a start, but as I witnessed at St. Peter's Primary School, social change isn't coming quickly. The young boys in this 7th grade class told me many men still pay a lobola or dowry for their African brides, buying the right, they explained, of sexual domination.
Some men say that because I paid my dowry to you for you and you're part of my property.
How will you treat your wife and your daughter?
I may treat them equally, but you see, when they are under control, I can control them.
What was no laughing matter was the girls' silence.
I want to understand why. Can you help me understand why no girls are answering?
Finally, 13-year-old Primrose spoke for herself and for generations to come.
I feel so embarrassed when I saw woman and child be child abused with someone. There is nothing we can do because we are children. When I grow up, I want to be a lawyer so that if someone do bad things like that, I said earlier on, I'll punish you.
Enlightenment? Perhaps. But judging from the snickers and snide whispers, real change is still a long way off.